balanced outing. We'll see what he needs to do to be successful in a minute.
Denard Span leads it off, and the first pitch is a ball. Span has been very good for Minnesota in that leadoff spot.
Now here's that sprint pitcher profile. He's got to control his fastball. He threw a lot of pitches in his last start, only 57 strikes. He also has to develop his off speed. If he can develop his off speed, he has a couple pitches to go to.
He throws a strike to Span, and it's 2-1. Span with an on-base percentage of over .390. And gets the start in that leadoff spot, even though he's facing a left-hander. 3-1.
Well, here we go, Dwayne. I mean, this is just what the Rays didn't really want to see. 3 balls to the first hitter.
And he throws a strike. Well, Price had a pretty good spring, but was sent to AAA with the express purpose of commanding the fastball and working on a changeup, but command of the fastball the primary point of emphasis there. Span stays alive with a 3-2 count here, leading off this game.
Well, and he's a guy that can get away with just throwing a fastball. He's a 98-mile-an-hour guy, and if he can control where that ball goes, added with his velocity, he could basically live with one pitch.
Span fouls it again. Another fastball from Price. Already 7 pitches to the leadoff man. It's what Minnesota wants to see out of Span and not what Tampa Bay wants to see from David Price. And a little soft liner left side caught by Longoria, cutting to his left. Rays defense, speed in the outfield and left and center. Price being caught today by Michel Hernandez. Diana Navarro has done most of the catching here, but Hernandez has worked out pretty well in the spot starts he has gotten. And Joe Mauer, who missed the first month of the season, came off the disabled list, played 22 of the first 23 games the Twins played once they activated him, and all he has done is hit and hit with power.
Yeah, it's as if he hasn't missed a beat at all. You know, a great hitter has won 2 batting championships already in his young career.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, you talk about locating. This pitch is right down the middle, and as I said, with David Price's velocity, he can get away with throwing that pitch, even to an exceptional hitter like Joe Mauer.
Down just a bit. 2-1. Second start of the year for Price with Tampa Bay. It's a little tap foul. It will take the count to 2-2. Eric, in his start against Cleveland, he put the first 2 men on and then struck out the side in the first inning, and Price said he thought that really was a detriment to him because it planted in his mind that he could strike out everyone, and that was what he concentrated on.
Well, and that's something, you know, a lot of young power pitchers, it takes time to mature and understand that, look, it's not about striking people out, it's about getting outs.
Mauer keeps the count at 2-2, fouling that fastball back.
You know, as you mentioned, Wayne, I mean, 3 1/3 innings pitched. He had the 6 strikeouts, but the high pitch count, 100 pitches, when Joe Madden had to take him out.
Two again. And to the second straight hitter, he's gone 3-2.
I mean, as you mentioned, this is something that the Twins offense, you see Justin Morneau on deck. You know, that's a plan. That's an approach that they're going to take with them to the plate. Make Price throw pitches.
And that one just missed for ball 4. So Mauer draws the walk.
First baseman, number 33.
You see this pitch just out of the zone. You know, not a bad pitch if you're making that on an 0-0 count or an 0-1, something along those lines. But again, 3-2, Price has to demonstrate that he's got the ability to throw the ball over the plate.
And that's the kind of pitch that if you are throwing a lot of strikes, you might actually get that call.
Exactly.
Justin Morneau, the first baseman, in there. And there's the first pitch strike. A lot of hard stuff from Price here in the early stages of this game. Morneau with impressive numbers across the board, especially against lefties. He's hitting well over 400 against left-handed pitching. Slider there makes it an 0-2 count.
Yeah, you mentioned slider there. That was a 90-mile-an-hour slider, and that's what makes this guy so devastating. The hard fastball, the hard slider.
Strike three call. He followed that up with a little extra on a fastball.
Well, you just got a 90-mile-an-hour slider, and as a hitter, you're just thinking, man, I got no chance. And then David Price follows it up with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And when you're walking back to the dugout, you know you have no chance when a guy's out there throwing like that.
2 outs with Mauer at first. Michael Kadire, the right fielder, hitting cleanup today for the Twins. And there's a fastball, first pitch strike. We went 3-2 to both Span and Mauer. Walked Mauer. He got Morneau on 3 pitches and has jumped ahead of Kadire. More heat for strike 2.
And you can almost see David Price gaining confidence with each pitch. Not just up there and playing catch with the catcher right now. An intense version of playing catch.
Up and away, another fastball, 1-2.
And he has the type of stuff that when he's ahead 0-2 or 1-2, he's got to put the hitter away. You know, don't go to the 3-2 count and waste the pitches. That will come back to bite him later on in the game with the pitch count.
We'll take the count to 2-2, and another hard slider, and they all are from Price. 2 outs, Mauer at first. 2-2 the count to Kadire. Twins have had a very good month of May. Offensively, they have been on fire. This one fouled beyond the third base coaching box, and Kadire will require a new bat. He just broke that one. Kadire got off to the slow start, but anything but that in May. Only 1 home run the first month of the season, 8 in May. And now he's full with this hitter after getting ahead 0-2. Fastball missed.
You see this pitch, a hard fastball just in off the plate. But as you mentioned, Wayne, you know, he's 0-2 to start with this hitter. You've got to put him away. You can't expend your energy with extra pitches.
Swing and a miss on the 3-2 fastball. He strikes out Kadire. Twins. First, we go to the bottom of the inning, and the starting lineup for the Rays brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. B.J. Upton in the leadoff spot in center, followed by Carl Crawford and Evan Longoria leading the major leagues in runs batted in. Carlos Pena, Willie Ibar, and Ben Zobrist down the middle. Joe Dillon is the DH with Gabe Kapler in right. Michel Hernandez hits ninth. He'll do the catching. Francisco Liriano, 2-6, will be making his 11th start of the year with an earned run average of 6.42. He's given up 8 home runs in just under 55 innings. Here's the sprint pitcher profile for Francisco Liriano.
Well, and if this scouting report looks similar to David Price, it's exactly the same. Liriano has to control his fastball as well. He doesn't throw as hard as David Price, but he has to get the ball over the plate so he doesn't get that high pitch count, the off speed as well. Get the slider and show the changeup.
He starts Upton with a fastball on the corner for a strike. Quickly jumps ahead, changed speeds on him. Liriano faced the Tampa Bay club up in Minnesota and utilized his changeup from time to time quite effectively in that outing. 1-2.
Well, as you mentioned, he was successful because he utilized the off-speed stuff, and he's a young guy that had a lot of success early on in his career as a power pitcher.
2-2.
Because of the arm injury, he's had to change, and I'm not sure if mentally he's accepted that change. He's had to be able to pitch more, establish that off-speed, locate the fastball.
And Upton tried to check and did. James Hoy down at first says he held. We have a full count here to Upton.
I think Upton may have got away with one right there. Looked like he committed. I'll tell you what, as a former hitter, you take that chance every time.
And a little tap out to second. Casilla, just back from the minor leagues, makes that play. Upton out. Casilla, 2 more no.
Well, you see, Liriano goes to the pitch on the outer half of the plate. You see it's an off-speed, a slider, and Upton just tips it towards the second baseman. Again, that's what Liriano has to become, more of a contact pitcher instead of that strikeout guy he used to be.
Carl Crawford chopping one foul. Crawford hitting .320. In contrast to last year, he is absolutely healthy this year, and it has shown in his running game. He's behind Liriano. Not a lot of at-bats against Liriano in this Tampa Bay matchup with the Twins left-handers. And the chopper up the middle, and that will skip through into center field for a base hit. So Crawford is aboard with 1 out. Marcus Rutzenbach with Tantry, and the recording of that is the entry music for Evan Longoria each and every at bat. He's here live today.
Now, you must be a pretty darn good ball player if you can get the guy coming in and doing it live.
He goes for the first pitch, hits it down to Creedy, out at second and over to first. He might change that procedure now. 5-4-3 on an around the horn double play. 2-1, no score. Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And sponsored by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect. Only on the Now Network. And by Hyundai Assurance. A little certainty in uncertain times. Back in Tampa Bay. On to the second inning. Here's Ron Gardenhire, the Minnesota Twins manager. Out of the University of Texas. His 8th year as the skipper, following Tom Kelly and his long run in Minnesota. Joe Creedy, the third baseman, leads off the second against David Price. And there's a first pitch strike. One ball, one strike. Harris next, and then Young. Popped up. That's going to be a foul ball and will carry out a play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Price walked one man in the first. He walked Mauer and picked up a couple strikeouts. And a pitch just missing inside.
Well, he's not missing by much, but again, we're getting into that situation. 0-2, 1-2. You know, he's not able to put the guy right away.
A tap foul that holds the count at 2-2. And 3 of the 4 hitters in that first inning went to 3-2 with him, and all of them fouled off pitches.
Yeah, well, we saw it, 25 pitches in that first inning. That's not going to leave him long for the game.
And he is 3-2 now with Creedy. So another full count. Creedy makes contact, fouling off the healthy fastball, but staying alive and adding another pitch to Price's early pitch count. Him. Second walk. This one leads off the second inning. In our sounds of the game, Twins right-hander Kevin Slowey is mic'd, and it seems everybody's talking about Price's pitch count.
Normally you talk about 15 pitches is like the right amount of pitches in it. You don't want to go over 15 because 15 pitches times 6 innings is 90 pitches. So you can go, if you go 15 pitches an inning, you can go 7 innings and only throw 105 pitches. So that's the idea.
And that's the goal for any pitcher. And first pitch here to Brandon Harris is a strike. Eric, the pitchers have all of that figured out from pitch 1.
Well, you know, it's interesting because when I played, there wasn't a lot of discussion about that, but that's the evolution of the game. And I think, you know, it's become a strategy to increase pitchers' pitch counts if you're the offensive team.
2 strikes. Well, both these clubs, the Twins and the Rays, see a lot of pitches. That's the strategy, as you referenced right there.
Well, again, and that's come in a lot over the past few years. You know, go up there, see a lot of pitches. There have been a lot of statistical analysis, you know, done that says it favors the offense if you can make a guy throw a lot of pitches.
Up and away, and you hear so much. Get that starter out of the game, run his pitch count up, get into the bullpen. And if you do that, even in an age of specialization, the feeling is you still put a lot of pressure on a pitching staff in total.
Yeah, well, you do, and it's not just about one game. You get into a bullpen early today, that impacts tomorrow's game as well. It impacts tomorrow's starters.
Strike call. Harris caught looking. That'll be the third strikeout, first out in this inning.
Well, here, David Price going inside with that fastball. Brendan Harris trying to sell it as if the pitch is too far inside. And sometimes as a hitter, that's what you try to do when you know you can't get to that pitch as far as hitting it. You try to make it look like, oh, wow, that was way off the plate, and hope the umpire will give you the call.
Well, here's Delman Young. He's the designated hitter in this game for Minnesota. He goes after the first pitch. and misses. A fastball, strike one. If Young works the count, we'll know the Twins really have made that point. He loves to swing the bat. The count is 0-2.
Yeah, you can see he's up there being aggressive, which is really not what you want to do against a guy like David Price, at least until he establishes the fact that he can throw strikes. But right now, at the very worst, if you were standing up there, you'd be 1-1.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball upstairs. David Price, #1 pick in the 07 draft out of Vanderbilt. And he strikes out Young with a fastball. He threw it right by him.
Fastball a little above belt high. And again, these guys are sitting on fastballs and they're not catching up to him. And that should tell David Price that his stuff is good enough, his velocity is good enough, that he doesn't have to try to trick guys. Just go right at him with the fastball until they prove that they can hit it.
Here's the center fielder, Carlos Gomez. And that's a strike. And you know, here must be the frustrating part for Price. Eric, he's thrown 6 of 8 first pitch strikes and still running a high pitch count. 0-1 the count to Gomez. Ground ball back to the hill. Price with the toss and a high one. He throws it away. Creedy will go to third. They're going to stop him there after a big turn, and now Gomez has run halfway between second and third and will get back to second. Price just lobbed it right over the head of Carlos Pena for an error.
Well, the ball hit right back to David Price. He's got all the time in the world, and sometimes that's the worst thing that can happen to you as a fielder. He just lobs it over there instead of just taking a good shuffle step and throwing a good hard ball to Carlos Pena, who runs it down and makes a good throw. Gomez was rounding. He was heading towards third. Scott Alger, the third base coach for the Twins, at the last minute decided to hold up Joe Creedy. Gomez able to retreat back to second base. There's Scotty Alger right there.
So on a walk and that error, the Twins have the first scoring opportunity in this game.
Yeah, you know, in that situation, I almost would force the issue at the plate. If I'm Scotty Alger, the third base coach, I wave Joe Creedy. It's not as if anybody's hitting the ball off of David Price. That may have been your only chance to score in this situation.
Well, there's Alexi Casilla, switch hitting infielder, just back from Rochester, the Twins AAA affiliate. He swings and misses that first pitch. So that's 7 out of 9 first pitch strikes. Price will try to pick himself up and pitch around his own error. Jammed by a fastball, and he fouls it back.
But you see Carlos Gomez. Now Scotty Alger, he's not even in the picture. There's no Scotty Alger. He's down by home plate. Now he's got his arms up right there. He's holding them up. But when he was coming around third base, Joe Creedy, he thought he was going to score. Carlos Gomez saw that. That's why he rounded second.
2 is high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Casilla had been struggling at the plate for Minnesota. Wound up taking that to the field defensively and then was sent to the minor leagues because of that. You saw the pitch count there on Price. Ground ball, Longoria up with it. Hitchstone at first is in time. That retires the side. Twins had an opportunity. They leave 2. By Taco Bell is sponsored by Bud Light Lime. The drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. No score from Tropicana Field. Bottom half of inning 2. We'll find Carlos Pena to lead off against left-hander Francisco Liriano. Willie Ibar and Ben Zobrist will hit numbers 2 and 3. Ball 1 to Pena. Pena with 16 home runs, leading the American League, and he's 4th in the league in runs batted in. Skies it right back foul, out of play, 1-1.
Well, Carlos off to another nice start in the power department, driving the ball all over the park. You know, it's interesting. I had a chance to watch him in his pregame routine, hitting in the batting cage, and you know, had the Latin music blaring, but everything he was hitting off of the tee and off of live was going to left field. Let the ball get real deep on him. And it's funny because during the game you think of him as a pull guy, but you know, he says he just does that to track the ball, to get him in rhythm, forces him to stay back, to watch the ball longer, gives him a greater chance to have success during the game.
And you'll see when he is locked in, he takes, we talked about taking pitches, he strikes out a lot, but he walks a lot. He takes a ton of pitches and is very skillful at taking close pitches when he is locked in and hitting well. Still a 1-2 count for that foul ball.
Well, and you'll see with a lot of power hitters, they aren't afraid to strike out. You know, they will take a lot of pitches. Not only do they see a lot of pitches, but then the more pitches a guy has to throw, the more chances he will make a mistake. Power hitters, when they see that mistake, they pounce on it.
Takes a close pitch right there. A fastball. It's 2-2 now.
You know, I mean, anybody can go up there and say, oh, well, you know what, I didn't strike out very much. And, you know, you swing at the first pitch or you swing at the second pitch. Well, that's not hitting. That's just going up there to not strike out. And who cares?
And another close pitch to run the count full. So a couple fastballs that Liriano shot the edge of the strike zone and missed. 3-2 to Pena. And he got him right there. A 3-2 slider. Strikeout number 1 for Liriano today.
Well, he told Pena where he was going in the previous 2 pitches with fastballs on the outer half of the plate. What Pena did not anticipate was a nasty slider that broke out of the zone. See, Carlos looked like the bat may have slipped out of his hand, but still a tough pitch from Liriano.
Now Willie Ibar hitting from the right side. Ibar is switch hitter. Better hitter for average from the left side, but still has some pop in his bat as a right-handed hitter. Skies it to the right side. Casilla hustling out from second base toward the line, and he makes the catch. 2 gone. So with the bases empty, 2 outs. Ben Zobrist is on his way to the plate. Another switch hitter in the Tampa Bay lineup. He's in there at shortstop today in the absence of Jason Bartlett.
Well, Zobrist, a guy that can fill in at any spot on the field, but he's a guy that also brings a lot of offense with him, which is something that you don't normally see with a utility guy.
Pitch is a strike on the outside part of the plate.
You know, it reminds me very much of Mark DeRosa, the Cleveland Indians right now, a guy that can play in a number of spots but will provide some punch.
1-1.
Joe Madden, he'll have to do a lot of shuffling. As you know, we mentioned Jason Bartlett out, Iwamura, the second baseman, out.
And the Rays have 9 players on the disabled list, and they have 6 new faces on this team. They left for essentially a week and a day road trip. Came back off that road trip with 6 new faces because of injury.
Well, that was a part of the deal that Joe Madden signed, that 3-year. See, Jason Bartlett, that 3-year deal. It came with the fact that, hey, look, you're going to get a whole new team here this week as well. So good luck, buddy. Troy Percival there.
There you go. Bartlett on the DL. Kazmir, Iwamura out for the year. Pat Burrell, Troy Percival.
Yeah, those aren't guys either that, you know, your 24th men on the roster. Those are all guys that have huge roles on this ball club.
And Brian Shaw's the left-handers on the DL, and as a left-handed specialist, he's been pretty good for this team. So they miss him as well, particularly when they're not getting a lot of innings out of their starting pitchers who have been running high pitch counts in 2 or 3 turns through the rotation.
Yeah, we'll tax the bullpen. And, you know, one of the guys was asking Joe Madden yesterday, who watched Liriano throw.
It's a foul ball.
He was talking to Joe Madden and referencing the fact that last year, you know, there were some key injuries, but the Rays were able to overcome it. And Joe Madden said, well, you know, it's different this year because last year we had momentum. Then we had injuries. Well, we haven't established that momentum yet, and that's a difficult part.
Ground ball shortstop. Brendan Harris up with this one, and his throw to first is in time. A 1-2-3 inning for Liriano. We're at the end of 2. We'll return to Tampa Bay after a break from your local Fox stations. Span shortens on the bat, drawing Longoria even a bit closer, taking ball 1. Span line to third his first time. Takes a strike. It's 1-1. Twins are 2 games under 500, still running second in the Central in the American League, but they won 6 of their last 9. The Minnesota problem has been playing on the road, where they're just 5-15, and a bunt by Span, a good one. Throw to first is low, and what a play backing up. First base Ibar prevented that ball from going down beyond the bullpen.
Base hit.
Quick look at Denard Span's mother there. His mother Wanda watching Denard put down a great bunt.
Yeah, and this is really the only way that the Twins are making contact so far. And this is David Price's second missed throw to first of the game. You see, there's Denard's mother. She's fired up. Wanda in the stands, got her Twins t-shirt on. Has to be very proud of her son Denard having another nice season.
He's a local guy out of Tampa Catholic here and has really had an impact on the Twins lineup. Now it's Joe Mauer. 1 ball and no strikes, and you can only imagine how a pitcher's attention may be split with a guy like Span at first and Joe Mauer in the batter's box. Strike 1-1.
Well, and again, a guy like David Price just has to focus on the hitter. And I say that not to completely disregard Span, but so what if he steals second and third? You know, Price has the ability, and that's what he has to understand, to just walk through lineups. He's got that type of arm. He just has to start believing in himself.
And he throws a strike to Mauer. Fastball, it's 1-2. About the only thing Mauer has not done since he has returned from the disabled list is hit left-handed pitching. He came into the game hitting .233 off left-handers. He's done everything else. Fouls it back, staying alive. It's still 1-2. 11 home runs. And look at the home runs per at bat, or at bats, and the ratio in terms of what he had done in the past. He did 13 home runs a couple of years ago. That's his high. He'd almost reached that in a month. Takes it the other way. That ball is a fair ball and will bounce out of play along that low wall in foul territory for a ground rule double.
Well, and this is what makes Joe Mauer so great, is his ability to wait for the pitch and then go with it to any part of the ballpark. He drives this ball to left field, just stays inside the line, goes into the crowd for a ground rule double. But a guy like David Price, Joe Mauer waits for the ball to get deep on him, not afraid to shoot it to left field.
Well, the Twins had men at second and third with 2 outs in the second. Now they have men at second and third, nobody out in the third. Justin Morneau hits a chopper to second. That will get the run home as Ibar makes the throw to first. Span crosses the plate. So the leadoff bunt turns into a run for Minnesota, and the Twins take a 1-0 lead.
Well, you know, that's really a great at-bat right there for Justin Morneau. I mean, you remember his previous at-bat, he was blown away with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Here, he's up there with one thing in mind: get the runner in from third and get the runner from second over to third base. He does that with that ground ball to second.
Now the infield comes in with Mauer at third, 1 out, Kadire the hitter. The pitch is a strike, and you know that at bat is a vintage Minnesota Twins at bat. That's right out of their playbook, if you will. It's one of the reasons these two teams are so much fun to watch. They actually complement each other. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Rays have been right up front saying that they pattern their team and their organization after the example set by the Minnesota Twins. Pop foul the other way, out of play.
Well, in both of these franchises, in order to have success, they have to play baseball, quote unquote, the right way. Do little things. They're not the types of teams that have the expansive payroll that are going to go out and buy all the superstars, bring them in. So when you have situations like we just did, you've got to manufacture runs. That's why the Twins have been so successful over the years.
Fastball by Kadire. He's out on strikes. The 5th strikeout for David Price.
And when David Price needs a strikeout, he has the ability to get one. Now this a fastball up in the zone, and with the infield in, Tampa Bay playing to prevent that run in from third. The best way to prevent that run from coming in, a strikeout.
And Joe Creedy, the third baseman who walked his first time, fouls the pitch back. Creedy hitting .241. Been bothered the last few years with back problems. Fouls it off his foot. He was hit by a pitch in the hand the other day, but didn't miss much time at all because of that. 2 strikes the count to him. Couple of walks, a run, 2 hits given up by Price. 5 strikeouts and a 2-strike pitch to Creedy. In just a bit.
And David Price has gone there a number of times. Jerry Meals has not given him that pitch outside of the one to Brendan Harris. So Hernandez may want to move a bit more over the plate on the inner half.
There's a strike call. Fastball to retire the side. Twins score a run. The Rays coming into bat in the bottom of the third. 1-0 Minnesota. Saturday Baseball presented by Taco Bell. The Minnesota Twins and the Tampa Bay Rays move into the bottom of the third from Tropicana Field. 1-0 Minnesota leading. Joe Dillon, who is the designated hitter, he just joined the club after the rash of injuries this past week. And he takes the pitch. That's in there for a strike.
He came over from the Oakland A's in exchange for Adam Kennedy, second baseman, who has done a nice job for Oakland since he's been there.
The pitch is wide, and it's ironic because Adam Kennedy went to spring training with the Tampa Bay club, and they made a deal with him. He went to AAA, and they said if there was an opportunity. Oh, there's a long fly ball hit high and deep to left, and Dillon has just hit it out. This game is tied. Joe Dillon picks up his first hit in a Tampa Bay uniform, and it's a game-tying home run.
Liriano just gets his pitch over the plate. Dillon turns on it. Again, this is a fastball Liriano throws now. It's 90, 91. It's not where it used to be 96, 97. So the location for him has to be better. You see 89-mile-an-hour fastball.
9 home runs, 8 by right-handed hitters, and a little over 56 innings of work. Gabe Kapler taps one. Liriano hustles after it. Throw to first is in time, and so Kapler is out of there.
That's a nice play by Liriano, getting over there, making the play. Kapler hustling down to first base. But really, the person that makes this play is Justin Morneau. And I say that because you see Liriano coming over, he just turns and fires. And as a first baseman, when you're that close, you see the pitcher come up and know he's going to try to hurry the throw. You're just hoping it's somewhere near an area where you can catch it, then he doesn't throw it right through your chest.
Michel Hernandez, the pitch is down to him. Hernandez, the catcher, he's getting a start against the left-hander. 2-0.
Well, you see, look at Dillon. The back elbow here, it's tucked close to the body. You see that in each spot. That's where you get the power from. It's almost as if you're pushing the ball out. You're not swinging, it's pushing.
2-1 now, the count to Hernandez, and with that home run, the game is tied. Hernandez lifts one high and foul up the right side, headed for the stands, and it's 2-2. Well, the irony of that Adam Kennedy story is that the Rays just a couple of weeks ago found an opportunity in the big leagues for him and traded him to Oakland. Then they lost Evo Mora for the season because of the injury sustained on the last road trip. There's a base hit. They got Dillon for him, and now Dillon has hit the game-tying home run. Runner at first, one out. Time for the Bank of America fan cam here at Tropicana Field. Want to show the world it's not life, it's love. Get MLB banking only from Bank of America. Couple of heavy hitters there. Now B.J. Upton in the batter's box. It's low. A run, 2 hits in this inning for Tampa Bay. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. B.J. Upton signed as a shortstop, now playing center field. His real name, Melvin Emmanuel Upton. But his dad was the boss man, and B.J. is boss man junior.
Oh, and of course, his brother playing for the Arizona Diamondbacks got off to a slow start, but it's just been torrid as of late. Batting average up around 340. So baseball running in the family there. The Upton household.
Upton played last year with a bad left shoulder, had a great postseason, and then had surgery on the shoulder. It really has taken him a little time to get through the ball with that front left shoulder.
Well, that's something too. As a hitter, you start to favor things, and the shoulder's not feeling 100%, so maybe you try to be a little quicker with your hips. Things get out of whack.
Chop deep toward the hole. It's short. Harris a throw across his body, but Upton's speed means that's an infield hit. Hernandez moved into second.
You see Brandon Harris ranging to his right and then trying to throw out the speedy Upton. I'm not so sure that he should have just gone to second base. I mean, that was really his only play. He had the slower running Hernandez catcher going into second. It would have been a close play, but I don't think there was ever an opportunity to throw Upton out at first base.
An infield hit for Upton. Now Carl Crawford. Crawford fouls it out of play. Crawford with that base hit up the middle in the first inning was his first career hit against Liriano. He'd only had 6 at bats. He was 0 for 6 against him, but he had 3 strikeouts in those 6 at bats. And the last time just made contact and hit the ball through the middle. This one skips away from Mauer. The runners advance. Hernandez to third and Upton up to second on the wild pitch.
You see Liriano bounces this in front of Joe Mauer, and you see he gets down, but not much he can do trying to keep it in front of him. It squirts away as the runners move up. See, Ron Gard and I are watching all this, and one of the things that he's been concerned with Liriano this year is any sign of trouble, he seems to compound it. Doesn't throw the ball over the plate, misses his pitches, misses his spots, makes wild pitches, and he hasn't been able to get out of trouble. The leadoff home run, and things have snowballed.
That is a foul ball just outside the third base bag. 1-2. Tie game. Twins scored a run in the top of the third. The Rays back with a run in the bottom of the third on the home run by Joe Dillon.
But see, I like this right now. Joe Mauer going out to the mound, trying to calm down Liriano. See, Ron Gardner talking to Scotty Alger, and this is what they've seen this year. When there becomes a pressure situation, instead of Liriano slowing down and digesting everything, he speeds things up. Thus the wild pitches, thus the missed pitches, giving up base hits. When things become fast, you need to become slow.
A 1-2 count. Crawford fouls it. Crawford now with a 10-game hitting streak, with his base hit the first time up. Liriano ready. Ground ball right side, foul this time.
You know, and this is where Liriano has had to learn and is going to continue to have to learn how to pitch. You know, early on in his career, before the Tommy John surgery, he was a guy that was able to just rely on physical ability, throw the ball by guys. But now, because he doesn't have that same physical ability, you know, he has to pitch. He has to throw the off speed. He's not going to just blow guys away. See Rick Anderson, pitching coach there.
Crawford takes a close look and did not offer. It's 2-2. Liriano just 25 years old, and before the Tommy John surgery in 06, he was 12-3 and had the surgery and came back last year, pitched well in August, and then struggled in September. 2-2 is popped down the left side. Span is after it in foul territory, but it's out of his reach on the bullpen bench.
Well, you mentioned that 06 season for Liriano. You see Denard Span hustling, but Liriano, you know, not only 12-3, but really the most dominant pitcher in all of baseball that year, and helped the Twins to the playoffs. But again, he was much like David Price is now, in the 98-mile-an-hour fastball, the 90-mile-an-hour slider. Those things just aren't there anymore.
The 2-2. Crawford fouls it again.
See, you look at that 06 season, as you mentioned, Wayne, a 12-3 record. That ERA just above 2. You know, last year, coming back from the arm surgery, good, but again, not dominant. Again, that's a mental hurdle now. You know, he has to put it past. He's not the same guy anymore.
And the count goes full to Crawford. 3-2. Well, his pitch count had been in great shape through the first couple, and Crawford extending this at bat and pushing Liriano's pitch count a bit right now. And a chopper that's headed toward the middle. Backhanded by Casilla. Run's going to score, and no play anywhere. Hernandez crossed the plate. Upton advanced to third. And Crawford, with his second hit, drives in the go-ahead run.
Well, you can thank the hard infield here. The ball just bounces up the middle. Alexi Casilla hoping to get B.J. Upton rounding third. You see, watch B.J. Upton. He's coming around third, but look at Tom Foley. He's saying stop right there. He's got his arms up. That means stop right on the base. Don't round it, because if you do round it, you're susceptible to the throw behind, and you might get caught off the base. Great base coaching by third base coach Tom Foley.
And Rick Anderson goes to the mound to talk with Liriano while Foley and Upton discuss the situation at third. It's now a 2-1 game with Tampa Bay taking the lead in the bottom of the third. Tomorrow, NASCAR on Fox will be in Dover, Delaware, as Kyle Busch tries to defend his title against a full field of the world's best drivers. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing presented by McDonald's from Dover begins tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 a.m. Pacific in high definition on Fox. 2 runs, 4 hits in the inning. The home run by Dillon started in, and now with men at first and third, Evan Longoria steps in. Pitch down and blocked by Mauer.
Well, we saw Joe Mauer go to the mound, then the trip by Rick Anderson. You see Mauer blocking this ball, keeping it down in front of him. Lucky it hit off the shin guard there. But again, Liriano, he's just, after the home run, he's made a couple of wild pitches, frustrated by a bouncing ball, 2 infield hits.
Crawford back in.
It's not as if he's pitching poorly. He's throwing well. He's not giving up hits. He's not issuing walks. Made the one bad pitch to Dillon. But he's in a world of mess. Here's pitching coach Rick Anderson.
Again, a move with Crawford over there. Crawford with 30 steals this year, going back into last year, 32 consecutive stolen bases. And a foul ball down that third base side. Off Longoria's foot, takes the count to 1-1. A little note on Crawford. We saw the stolen base numbers, 30 of 30, impressive. But the other part of his game that he's done more of and has improved upon is the at-bat he just had, to grind out at-bats, to extend an at-bat, run up pitch counts. Foul ball, 1-2 to Longoria.
Well, as you mentioned, Carl Crawford grinding out at-bats. He's got 2 hits today that really, he just punched the ball into the ground and it just made its way up the middle. It's not as if he lined the ball anywhere, and that's something that, because of his ability to run, because of the surface here at the Trop, if he puts the bat on the ball, good things can happen. You strike out, nothing happens. You go right back to the dugout. You don't even give yourself a chance.
If you have speed and can put the ball in play, you're halfway home. And that's been a big part of the Tampa Bay offense this year, along with the home run. They came into the game third in the league in home runs. And it was the home run by Dillon to lead off this inning that has tied the game, and now it's 2-1 Tampa Bay. Still 1-2 to Longoria. One out, 2 runs home. Men at first and third. The major league's leader in runs batted in at the plate. Liriano, a little calling card there on Crawford. And now a move to first, throw down to second, and Crawford is out. Crawford caught stealing for the first time this year as Morneau went down to second base to put the tag on him to Harris.
Well, that play perfectly executed. Liriano starting it by making a perfect chest-high throw to first baseman Justin Morneau. Justin Morneau making sure that Upton doesn't take off from third base, makes a perfect throw to Brendan Harris.
And there's a base hit into center from Longoria. That's going to get Upton home and makes it 3-1. So after that pickoff and the caught stealing, Longoria picks up his 55th run batted in.
You know, that's a great at-bat by Evan Longoria. And not only the fact that he drove in the run, because sure, it's 1 run on the scoreboard, but it means a lot more from a momentum standpoint. The Twins had the momentum. It looked like they were getting out of the inning. This is not a bad pitch, just up maybe a tad. Longoria does a good job of just making contact and driving it the other way.
Carlos Pena takes the pitch high, and I think the point you made earlier about Liriano in terms of pitches, he made maybe one bad pitch, then Dillon hit it out. Here he is. It's been an extended inning for him, running his pitch count up. This is right now a 30 pitch inning.
Yeah, it really has. And you know, you break this down, and as you mentioned, it hasn't been a bad inning, but he's thrown a couple pitches in the dirt. You know, hasn't been able to put guys away. Has had a few bad breaks, but again, when you're a successful pitcher and you run into those obstacles, get yourself out of them. Go for the strikeout. Come back and make a good pitch.
Foul ball. That caught Mauer. Big cut by Pena. And Joe Mauer got a little piece of that foul ball. He'll walk it off.
But you see, this gets all mass right there and just jars Joe Mauer. You know, you talk about Joe Mauer, you know, he's made himself into a very fine defensive catcher as well, but you look at what he's done offensively and you couple that with the just absolute day in and day out wear and tear he takes as a catcher. I mean, those numbers are even more astounding.
Now Liriano is ahead of Pena, 1-2. Minnesota scored in the top of the inning. Morneau's ground ball got Denard Span home. Dillon hit a homer in the bottom of the third. Crawford and Longoria with RBI singles, making it 3-1. This one will skip away from Mauer, and down to second moves Longoria. Another wild pitch, and the count goes 2-2 on Pena.
Well, this is the third pitch of the inning that Mauer has had to go down and try to block. Liriano having real trouble with that slider. Hasn't found the release point on it.
Pena, did he go? Dale Scott, the crew chief, says no. And a full count.
We're going with that slider again. You see Pena just getting to the brink. Holds up though.
He struck him out on a 3-2 slider in the second inning. He's 3-2 here in the third with him. And he takes ball 4. So the inning will continue. Pena goes to first. First walk given up of the day by Liriano. Willie Ibar will be up there, the 8th Tampa Bay hitter of the inning. Popped to the second baseman Casilla in the second. And he's out in front. A changeup. We haven't seen a lot of those from Liriano today, but that was effective.
Yeah, the off-speed pitch kept it away from Ibar. You know, that's one of the things that he can't just be a fastball slider type of guy anymore. He has to throw that changeup. When he used to throw harder, he was able to get away with just fastball slider.
Liriano will get together. You know, he's one pitch away from matching Price in pitch count now. As much of an issue as the pitch count had been for Price through the first 3 innings. Just a reminder, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the official charity of MLB, reaching more than 4 million kids worldwide. Together, they create a positive place for kids. A 1-strike count. This will be the 37th pitch of this inning for Liriano. 1-1.
He's just got no command with that slider again in the dirt. As you mentioned, Wayne, 37 pitches in this inning. Now he goes back to that leadoff home run by Joe Dillon. That happens, and the wheels start to come off. Some infield hits.
He's down. 2 balls and a strike. This with a fastball that time, and it has Ron Gardenhire pacing and Rick Anderson reaching for the bullpen phone. Making a call down there. The 2-1. Ball 3. And as the pitches mount, he falls behind Ibar. 3-1. It's R.A. Dickey loosening down the left field line. Fouled up the right side. It's out of play. And Ibar may have gone for ball 4 there.
They absolutely expanded the zone. Right now, he just got to look for something he can zone up. And again, Liriano just not being able to show any kind of command with any of his pitches this inning.
A 3-2 count with men at first and second. They'll be off with this pitch. And it's high for ball 4. That will load the bases. Bases are loaded. Ben Zobrist will be the hitter. Well, Ben Zobrist will be the hitter. On April 17th, he hit a grand slam pinch hitting. Hit it off Matt Thornton of the White Sox. Gave the Rays a 6-5 lead. which ended up being the final score of that game. He's shown power from both sides of the plate. And he has the bases loaded, facing Liriano. And he takes ball one. He's over 40 pitches in this inning. And some impressive numbers for Zobrist in his career with the bases loaded. That's a strike.
Well, and Zobrist just has to be patient here. You know, the pitcher is the one that's in trouble right now. Liriano's been all over the map the last two hitters. As a hitter, you know the pitcher's fighting with himself.
And a chopper toward the left side, backhanded by Harris. No play. A run will score. Longoria crosses the plate, making it 4-1. That's a base hit, a run batted in, and the bases remain loaded.
Well, it's another ground ball in the infield, and you know, Liriano's just got to be thinking to himself, you got to be kidding me with this. I mean, again, we go back through this inning. The home run to Joe Dillon, that was absolutely crushed. Longoria, a good at-bat, hit a soft liner to the outfield, but we've had 3 ground ball hits, 2 infield hits. Carl Crawford gets one that bounces through the infield. You know, Liriano has not pitched that poorly.
Now Joe Dillon, who opened this inning by hitting a 1-1 fastball into the seats and left, bats with the bases loaded. The 10th man to come to the plate for Tampa Bay. And the pitch is a strike. Dillon led off this inning 28 minutes ago. In the meantime, Liriano has made 45 pitches. Up a strike on the corner.
This is what started it all. And the leadoff home run. Right after Minnesota had scored a run to take the lead, 1-0.
Pena third, Ibar second, Zobrist first. In a swing and a miss, he strikes out Dillon. That retires the side. 10 hitters, 4 runs scored through 3, 4-1 Tampa Bay. The Rays have a 4-1 lead over the Twins. The Twins coming in to hit here with Brendan Harris, their shortstop, leading off against David Price. And the pitch is lined into left, caught by Crawford. So 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Well, you look at that. I mean, the way that things started for the two guys, it looked like Price was going to be a runaway as far as pitch count, but Francisco Liriano having that tough 3rd inning where he threw 47 pitches.
Now Delman Young, and there's a first pitch strike. Price got the first out on 1 pitch here, unlike what he had been through earlier in this game. He is ahead of Delman Young now, 0-2. As we mentioned the first time around for Young back in the 2nd inning, he comes out of the dugout through the on-deck circle swinging.
Yeah.
Fouls another pitch back.
Well, and you know, this is really an important inning for David Price for a number of reasons. In Cleveland, when the offense scored a few runs, he was in the dugout for a while. He'd go out, he had trouble finding his location.
And Young is out on strikes. So 2 up, 2 down. We're pleased to have talked with Joe Madden, the Rays manager, about his young left-hander, David Price.
Great stuff once again, like we saw the other day in Cleveland. I think he's been a little bit sharper with his fastball today. Has thrown a couple good sliders also. Of course, the defense has messed him up a little twice today, but overall, I think better command of the fastball.
Evan Longoria, a great 2-out hit. Talk a little bit about what he's meant to this ball club in the early part of the year.
That's a big reason why his RBIs are so high. He's been going middle off field a lot more this year. He's been willing to do that and not just try to pull. I think his 2-strike approach has been fabulous, and again, that's a big part of his success this year. Obviously, without him in the middle right there, him and Carlos have been carrying the load RBI-wise. He's just maturing as a player, obviously, and he's a great young talent.
Joe, we appreciate your time. Thanks for visiting.
Always my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Well, 2 good ones, Price and Longoria. And 2-1 the count to Gomez, and the fastball is by him. 2-2.
Well, you know, another important thing of getting through this inning for David Price, you put Liriano back on the mound after getting no rest.
Gomez fouls 1 away, so it's still a 2-2 count. You have 2 quick outs there. And now 2-2 to Gomez. And he throws it by him. Gomez strikes out, a career high 8 strikeouts for Price. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 4-1 Tampa Bay. At shortstop, and Brendan Harris has moved over to play third base now. Creedy is out of the game. Liriano back out there on the hill. He faces Gabe Kapler after that long third inning. And the first pitch is a ball. Kapler, Hernandez, and Upton due up in the bottom of the fourth. A 2-0 count. 10 men went to the plate in the third inning. And Tampa Bay scored 4 to grab a 4-1 lead. Liriano picks up the strike zone. 2-1.
Well, and just as important as the offense was for the Rays last inning, David Price for that last half inning was also important in that went out there, only threw 11 pitches. Liriano's back on the mound after having had to face 10 hitters from the Rays.
And he promptly falls behind Kapler. He's back out after the short top half of the fourth, and now he's 3-1 on the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the inning. Foul back. Now the count goes full. We'll be hearing from Ron Gardenhire in just a moment. And there's ball 4. Kapler draws the walk. Talked with the Twins manager about that third inning and what went wrong.
Well, you know, we had, 3 infield hits there, 2 to shortstop. I thought we had plays at second base when we didn't throw to second base. And you know what? So that inning got really long and ugly. The pitching coach wants him to go back out there and see if he can get through an inning here. That was a really long inning. I'm a little nervous about it, but Andy seems to think that's the right thing. So we'll see what happens. He was throwing the ball fine. Like I said, you get those ground balls. We should have got a force out, especially on the one with the catcher running to second. We didn't throw it there, and there you go. Now we got Creedy hurt, too. He just came out of the game popping a calf muscle, so we'll see where we're at there.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it, Ron.
You got it, guys.
Well, Kapler's at first. A strike the count to Michel Hernandez, who goes after the pitch up. And now it's 0-2.
Well, Michel Hernandez, one of those players that Ron Gardenhire was talking about where they could have thrown the ball to second base and possibly got a force out in that third inning. Would have made the inning a bit easier for Liriano. You see R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer, down in the bullpen for the Twins.
1-2.
You know, and that's the thing. As a pitcher, you know, you want to include your defense, and you just hope that your defense picks you up. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But you know, that last inning, there were a number of plays that the Twins could have made that would have helped to alleviate the scoring.
And that's really the mantra that Rick Anderson, the Twins pitching coach, lives by. He tries to instill in the heads of his pitchers, throw strikes. It's all right if they make contact. Let us make the plays behind you.
Yeah, and it's one thing, you know, to preach that. It's another thing, though, to be Liriano standing out on the mound, watching what's going on, and when guys aren't making the plays, you have to make more pitches. You don't have your great stuff. You know, it gets frustrating. And I'll have to say, Liriano has shown great composure. He's gone back out for this inning. Has not displayed any kind of emotion out there in a negative way.
And the 1-2. It's a bit inside. 2-2. He's in the mid-80s now in his pitch count with a runner at first and nobody out in the fourth inning. A 4-1 game. All the scoring in the third inning. And now Hernandez, after getting behind, has worked the count full. B.J. Upton is on deck. Chop out to Casilla. Out at second. Out at first. That's a big double play for Liriano and the Twins. After getting ahead of Hernandez and then going full with him, he throws the double play ball.
They see Alexi Casillas starts it. Nice flip to Matt Tolbert. But I think, Liriano going out this inning, it's more of a mental test than it is a physical test going out there and giving them another inning. It's about regaining your composure, going out there, putting in the backseat all the frustration of the previous inning. And he's showing that, and that's what Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, wanted to see.
1-1. Well, the third inning sort of bucked him out of the saddle, and he's back in the saddle here in the fourth.
There's Rick Anderson there, watching, doing a job on those sunflower sheets.
1-2, the count to B.J. Upton.
You see
now.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at that thing. It's 10, 17, 16 in the fourth inning, and then that, 47. And that just came out of nowhere. But again, we go back to the defense did not help him in the least.
Upton fouls pitch back and out of play.
And what's interesting is, you look tomorrow and look at the statistics of the game, and the Twins haven't made any errors, and it won't show up that they were poor defensively, but there were plays that were not made that compounded that third inning for Liriano.
2-2, the count on Upton. Gardenhire trying to get his team going on the road. Tampa Bay happy to be back home after a tough road trip. And Upton is out on strikes. We have completed 4 innings at Tropicana Field. 4-1 Tampa Bay. Just the scene between innings here as we go to the fifth. First Rick Anderson and then Ron Gardenhire talking with their starter, 25-year-old Francisco Liriano. Some words of encouragement, I'm sure. Alexi Casillas leads off the 5th. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-1. David Price had an 11-pitch 4th inning. That's something he was looking for. And a base hit stroke through the middle for Casilla. Leadoff base hit. We'll swing back around to the top of the order. Here's today's Gillette trivia question. Who is the only team to have 3 players hit for the cycle in the same season? The only team with 3 players hitting for the cycle in the same season. Twins have a couple this year. Here's Denard Span. Kadire hit for the cycle. So did Kubel.
So do you have the answer to that trivia question, though?
We have to go back in history, I'm sure. You know, Mauer threatened last night to hit for the cycle. Span takes the pitch. It's shortened on the bat. Mauer had a single, double, and a triple in that game. Went 3 for 5. He's on deck. Casillas at first. One and 2. Game has reached the top of the 5th. Renault drove in the Minnesota run with a chopper to second, getting Denard Span home. Tampa Bay scored 4 times in the bottom of the 3rd. Dillon's home run led off the inning and tied the game. Crawford, Longoria, and Zobrist drove in the other runs. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, and this is the second time around in the order for the Twins facing David Price. Not that it makes it any easier when the guy's out there throwing 97, 98, but at least you've seen the movement of his pitches. You can try to eliminate pitches, maybe just sit on a fastball. But at least you have some information.
2-2 is popped up left side. Zobrist out from shortstop will handle this. One on, one out with Joe Mauer coming to the plate. Has been on twice today, and look at last night. He singled his first time up, doubled to right center in the 3rd, and after a ground ball to second in the 5th, he tripled in the 8th inning. That spelled the end of the night for James Shields, and Mauer wound up 3 for 5 in that game. Doubled up the left field line in the 3rd inning today. Pitch up and in. Here's the other thing about David Price. He's at 84, I think, in pitch count right now. In the minor leagues, he didn't throw any more than 85 pitches. And then he threw the 100 pitches in 3 1/3 in his first start of the year for Tampa Bay in Cleveland. So they're not going to go with him much longer.
No, speaking of Joe Madden, probably not much past 100. You know, and ironic because he's in line for the victory here. He's got the 3-run lead, but he's got to get through 5 innings. It's just as his last start had a huge lead, but wasn't able to get to that 5th inning. You see, he's been more efficient as the game has gone on.
Throws a strike to Mauer. A 1-1 count.
Be interesting to see what the Twins do. Joe Mauer will be a free agent after the 2010 season. Twins having a history of letting their guys go. Torrey Hunter, Johan Santana.
This one down, it could be doubly difficult for Mauer.
Yeah, I should say Santana was traded in anticipation of his free agent year. But, you know, with the Twins going into a new ballpark, I mean, I really don't think they have any choice. And you've got to just pull up the Brinks trucks and let Mauer have at him. Hometown kid, great player.
Fouls it back 2-2, and particularly with the power explosion they've seen out of Mauer this year. There were some scouts who were skeptical of him because he didn't hit the home run. Well, he's hitting the home run now. Garcia's at first, 1 out. Foul off Mauer's foot. Ball back to the mound, and Mauer goes down in the batter's box.
I don't know if that was foot, shin. That's shin. Yeah, that's shin, no pad. That's not good. I can tell you right now, from that hurts like you know what. You see, he's got that gear around his ankle. You see this gear right here, but it hits up here. There's no padding there, and you know, on top of that, there's no real muscle or fat or anything. That's right on the shin bone. And I'll tell you, as the game goes on, he wakes up tomorrow, that's going to hurt. That's going to leave a mark, Dwayne. I can tell you that.
Yep.
That's going to be a nice color in a few hours.
They've already lost Joe Creedy from this game when he fouled the ball off his left knee.
There's Mike Redmond, catcher, on the right there. Looking on in anticipation, saying, look, I got the day off. You stay on out there and swing the bat, big guy.
It's Grant Balfour up in the Tampa Bay bullpen. R.A. Dickey was up earlier for the Twins, and he's down there in their bullpen again. 2-2 the count to Mauer. And a wave and a miss at the 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Time for the DirecTV game break coming up right after this strikeout.
High fastball out of the zone. Yep, high fastball, and not much Mauer could do there.
Here's the DirecTV game break. Dodgers and the Cubs playing at Wrigley Field, bottom of the 4th. Mike Fontenot hits one into right center field for a triple off Eric Stultz. Bobby Scales scores. And the Cubs take a 3-0 lead. Watch your favorite MLB team, no matter where you live, with DirecTV. Justin Morneau fouling away the first pitch. That's a strike. Morneau drove in the run with a ground ball in the 3rd.
See Mauer putting on his gear. He's ready to go back out there.
Two strikes. Just over 90 pitches now for Price. Foul back. That one ended 96. These guys have been swinging the bat. It takes something like a 96 or 98 mile per hour fastball to have a chance to stop them. Ground ball deflected off the glove of Price towards short. Zobrist makes the throw to first, but it's not going to be in time. Zobrist had to wait for that one to come down after the deflection, and Morneau has an infield hit.
Well, a real nice play by Ben Zobrist here. The ball bounces off David Price's glove, and Zobrist, the only play he has is to barehand it and make a throw on the run. Fields it cleanly, makes a good throw to Carlos Pena. But Justin Morneau from the left side, hustling the entire way, just beats the throw.
Well, that gets Michael Kadire to the plate. The first pitch is a fastball away from him.
See, that ball just shoots up in the air, and Zobrist does everything imaginable, but again, just not going to make that play after it deflected off David Price's glove.
Foul ball, 0-2. After seeing a lot of hard stuff, Kadire fouling that little slider.
I'm guessing David Price is probably a 97-mile-an-hour high fastball away from being in line for a win. Go up in the zone, 97, have Kadire swing at it.
He got him. He came back with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball right on the button. Bottom half of the fifth. Ball presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Bottom of the fifth inning coming up from Tropicana Field in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 4, Minnesota 1. The Minnesota Twins will go to the bullpen. R.A. Dickey, and it's time for the Zantac relief pitcher profile.
Well, he's got 12 games under his belt, 3.42 ERA. He's a knuckleball guy. You know, as a hitter, you got to go up there and just stand up there. And as they say, if it's high, let it fly. If it's low, let it go.
Heartburn, attack it. Zantac. His first pitch is a strike.
That's one of the most. Yeah, you see, that was one of the most efficient ways of getting the ball back to the pitcher. See Carl Crawford right there. Joe Mauer just caught it, slapped it, and it went right back to the pitcher. It's a new way of getting it back there. There's Francisco Liriano. You know, I'll tell you, he threw a lot better than those numbers look. Had some plays in the infield that they weren't able to make. Again, no errors.
Yeah. He's not happy now, but you do have to give him a lot of credit for coming back and pitching the fourth inning the way he did.
Yeah, and I think that was more of a mental test, you know, kind of what are you made of, and let's see some intestinal fortitude, and he absolutely showed the Twins that it's there.
You know what else that shows is that Ron Gardenhire will let his coaches make a decision, and he said Rick Anderson wanted him to go back out there. He said, I'm not sure, but he said Anderson said let's send him out. Turned out to be really a good thing, I think, long term for the Twins.
Yeah, as you mentioned, one of the reasons why Ron Gardenhire is one of the most successful managers in the game.
A strikeout with Morneau taking the throw from Mauer. So Crawford is out on strikes. Gives Crawford 2 for 3. Here's Evan Longoria. In a game like this, the Twins are looking for innings out of R.A. Dickey. Trying to keep them close here. It's a 4-1 game right now. And if you're in the Tampa Bay lineup, you're trying to tack on a run here and there and add a couple. That's a strike to Longoria. He drove in a run with a base hit and scored a run in the third. Ground ball to second. Casillas right there, and the throw to first. 2 up and 2 down. Once again, today's Gillette trivia question: who's the only team to have 3 players hit for the cycle in the same season? And the answer is we would have to go back a few years for this one. The 1933 Philadelphia Athletics. Mickey Cochran, Jimmy Fox, and Pinky Higgins all hitting for the cycle for the Athletics in 1933. Carlos Pena pitches a strike. The Twins have 2 this year.
Michael Kadire out there. Swung through that last David Price fastball at 97. Runners on first and second. A lot of hitters are going to do that this year, and for the many years to come against David Price. See Carlos Pena, 16 home runs.
1-1 right now against the knuckleball pitcher. Foul ball out of play. Takes it to 1-2. Two outs, bases empty. Two and two. Dickey, 34 years old, with the Mariners last year. Pena's under it. High popper, short right. Garcia from second base makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 fifth. At the end of 5, 4-1, Tampa Bay leading Minnesota. Ball presented by Taco Bell is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. By Gillette Fusion, Gillette's closest, most comfortable shave. And by Craftsman, trust in your hands. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. David Price has 5 innings under his belt, 10 strikeouts. Matt Tolbert leads off his first at bat today. 1 ball, no strikes. He lifts a fly ball to right. Kapler toward the line a bit and back, makes the grab. 1 out in the 6th inning. Well, with 96 pitches through 5, the Rays, Joe Madden and Jim Hickey, send the big left-hander out there again. He threw exactly 100 pitches Monday in Cleveland. Brendan Harris is now playing third base. He started the day at short. Strike call.
Well, Brendan Harris at short earlier in the game had some opportunities for plays, force outs at second base, elected to go to first base, unable to get the runner.
One and one. So that makes it an even 100. Two balls and a strike.
You know, David Price, though, as you mentioned, done a wonderful job after the first 2 innings. 47 pitches. The next 3 less than 40.
That's a fair ball. That's down toward the bullpen. Harris is on his way for an extra base hit. He'll move into second with a double. Harris cued that one just fair up the right side, collecting his 7th double of the year. The bullpen busy last inning, busy this inning, and we'll see how much deeper they go with Price.
Yeah, this ball just ran in on the hands of Harris. He fisted it off, gets it down the line towards first base. Look at that. You know what's interesting about that? David Price's windup, instead of stepping back with his right foot, he steps forward with his right foot when he's on the rubber. Very unconventional.
Elman Young fouls one away, strike one. Make it 0-2.
Now you see what I'm talking about here. This foot, usually that would go back, okay? It doesn't go back, it goes forward. Very unconventional. You see that? Steps towards the hitter. You never see that. One of the secrets, I guess, to throwing 98.
Foul ball back, holds the count at 2 strikes. The other thing about Price today, he's thrown 17 first pitch strikes of the 25 men he's faced. 10 strikeouts. Ahead of Young, 0-2. Down and in. Blocked by Hernandez, and no opportunity for Harris to move up.
Well, you know, we've been emphasizing the pitch count for David Price, and you know, I spoke to Joe Madden prior to the game, and he said, look, his minor league starts, you know, even last year, he threw a lot of pitches. It's just that we became accustomed to seeing him as a reliever. He'd throw 20-25 pitches, so he said, wow, pitch efficient.
Young fouls it. He got a piece of the fastball to stay alive.
You know, we aren't accustomed to seeing, oh, the 70, 80, 90, 100 pitches. There's Joe Madden. But he said that's the way the guy throws. That's the way he's been. Sure, they want him to be more pitch efficient now that he's going to be used as a starter here as opposed to last year, where he was very good as the reliever.
1-2 got him. He blew it by him. And that one hit 98. The 11th strikeout. A 98-mile-per-hour fastball, and Joe Madden will head to the mound now.
Grant Balfour, the new Rays pitcher.
So Madden will go to the mound to get him on pitch count. He'll receive a great hand as he departs, with Tampa Bay leading 4-1. Grant Balfour is the new pitcher for Tampa Bay, facing Carlos Gomez, and he starts him with a fastball a little close, 1-0. As David Price works 5 2/3, made 108 pitches and struck out 11 today, walked only 2. There's a strike to Gomez, 1-1. Gomez 0 for 2. He reached on the error, the throwing error committed by Price back in the second. Foul. 1-2.
And Balfour, a hard throwing right-hander. See 19 strikeouts, gets a bit erratic, 14 walks, but it's not often that as a hitter you're happy that a guy throwing 93, 94 is coming into the game, but shoot, that looks like changeup stuff after David Price.
1-2 the count to Gomez, and he fouls this one back. Another fastball. Balfour started his career in the Minnesota Twins organization. In fact, got to the big leagues with Minnesota, had a stint with Milwaukee, and then came to Tampa Bay in 07. One pitch just missed. 2-2. Here's the Hyundai in-game box score for the Twins, introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. The RBI belongs to Morneau, and that came on a ground ball in the third. Gomez steps out. Harris, the runner at second, he doubled just inside the bag at first and up the right field line. And Gomez is out on strikes. He got a slider, could not check. That retires the side. Bottom of the sixth, coming 4-1 Tampa Bay. Back in Tampa Bay, here's today's Flomax replay.
Well, and this is in the third inning. A ground ball, but B.J. Upton hits it. Brendan Harris, you see, he's got the ball. Go to second base, Brendan. Go to second. He decides to throw to first. There you see Michel Hernandez. He's not even close. Easy play, easy force out at second base. He decides to try to throw B.J. Upton out. Does not do it. Hernandez will eventually come around to score. That's your Flomax replay. They'd want it to be a Flomax redo if you're the Minnesota Twins.
The Rays scored 4 in that inning. That's been all of the scoring today for both clubs. When the Twins got a run in the third and the Rays 4 in the third. Willie Ibarz fouled the first pitch down the left side, well out of play. Misses this one, and he's behind in the count 0-2. R.A. Dickey on the mound in relief of Francisco Liriano. Dickey had a perfect fifth inning, getting Crawford, Longoria, and Pena. Ground ball, third base side. That's Harris, and the throw to first in time. Ibar, the first out.
Well, Harris makes a nice play ranging to his left, and you see he turns so he can get his momentum going towards first. Closes up, makes a good strong throw to Justin Morneau at first base. You see how he rotates here. He's got the ball. Now use those feet, turn the body. You've got a closed front side, able to make a good strong throw.
And Zobrist takes the knuckleball for a strike. Zobrist singled in a run in the third. He used 1 for 2 today. Lifts it into left center field. Span is over there though and makes the catch. They'll cover some ground. Span and Gomez, anything with a little hang time on it, good chance they're going to get it. 2 outs with the bases empty. Here's the Hyundai in-game box score for the Rays. All of the damage coming in the fourth. The home run by Joe Dillon started it. Introducing the new 306 horsepower real wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Dillon again. He is 1 for 2 today. In fact, both of his at-bats came in that 3rd inning. He started it with a home run and ended it with a strikeout. One ball, 1 strike.
See Dickey showing 2 fastballs to Dillon. Dillon's up there thinking, man, I thought this guy was a knuckleball pitcher. Well, here comes one.
Ground ball up the middle. That's going to go through. So Dillon has a 2-out single. Gives him 2 for 3. So far this season for Tampa Bay has been a start and a stop and a start and a stop, and they were really looking for the same kind of magic that they got last year, and it was the kind of thing they got from Joe Dillon to lead off the 3rd that happened time and time again for them last year when they won the American League pennant. Gabe Kapler, the pitch is inside because no one on the team really had a career year for them last season, and they had a number of injuries, including losing Longoria and Crawford in August. There's some who think losing Iwamura and Bartlett right now a bigger loss to this team this year than losing those 2 guys in August a year ago.
Well, I think you're right as far as, you look back at last year, 97 wins, but the team did not have a 300 hitter, did not have a pitcher that had 15 or more wins, and did not have a 30 save guy. But they played well and got to the World Series.
1-1 the count on Gabe Kapler. Down to 3rd, diving stop by Harris. Long throw to first, a strike, and that will retire the side. A base hit and the man left. We'll return to Tampa Bay after a break from your local Fox station.
Lights. Cowbells. Cowbells. I feel like I'm at a rave, not at a baseball game.
The Twins and the Rays have completed 6, moving into the top of the 7th inning. 4-1 Tampa Bay. Grant Balfour on the mound. Alexi Casilla leads it off. He's the number 9 hitter in Ron Gardenhire's lineup. And the pitch is a ball. Casilla just back from AAA. Singled in the fifth. He is 1 for 2. Takes a big cut there and misses. It's 1-1.
Well, and he's a guy that, you know, really had a nice year last year. Very athletic. They were hoping to see him continue to improve, and this year just got off to a horrid start, hitting 167, 231 on base percentage, and as we talked about earlier, took it out onto the field.
A little looper into short left. Crawford coming in. He got it. Crawford went into the slide mode to make the catch. 1 away.
You see, Carl Crawford gets a good jump, catches it, and then goes into the slide.
Here's Denard Span, who bunted his way on in the third and scored. And the pitch is around the knees for a strike. Chopped down to first, handled by Pena. That's the second out here in the 7th inning, and now it's time for a DirecTV game break. Braves and the Diamondbacks in Arizona, bottom of the 7th. Chris Young scores Ryan Roberts and ties the game at 2-2. Watch your favorite MLB team no matter where you live with DirecTV. For more information on that game and others, be sure and log on to foxsports.com. Here's Joe Mauer. That's a strike. Mauer has walked and doubled. He struck out his last time. Strike 2. A slider dropping in there. Balfour came on, struck out Gomez to end the top of the 6th, and he's retired the first 2 men he's faced in the 7th. And a bouncing ball right side, Ibar from second base, and it's a 1-2-3 7th. Bottom of the inning coming. Tampa Bay 4, Minnesota 1. is sponsored by Pepsi Throwback, made with natural sugar for a limited time only. By Zantac, heartburn, attack it Zantac. And by Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy. Michel Hernandez, the Rays catcher, will open the bottom of the 7th inning. He's the number 9 hitter. Followed then by B.J. Upton and Carl Crawford. 1 strike to count to Hernandez. Hernandez has a single and a run scored in this game. And lines it into left. That will be caught by Span. Denard Span using a quick break in his speed. 1 away. Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, congratulates David Price, today's MLB Clutch Performer of the Game, presented by Pepsi.
Yeah, absolutely dominant David Price. 97, 98 mile an hour fastball, 90 mile an hour sliders. He got the strikeout whenever he needed.
Learn more about the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month award at PepsiClutch.com. B.J. Upton lost this one down the right side. That's going to drop foul down near the Tampa Bay bullpen.
You know, we were talking a little bit earlier about, you know, the types of players that would get this Tampa Bay club going in the right direction. We talked about Joe Dillon and the spark that he's provided today. You know, David Price, what he could possibly do to this starting staff. You know, Matt Garza has been great. James Shields has been good. You see Manny Garza right there. And what they've missed is that third guy. And he can step in and where you go into a series and you've got 3 basic number 1s that could dominate right now.
Well, they've been needing innings in their starting rotation. And if they don't get that, as any club will tell you, it puts a lot of pressure on the bullpen. You have bullpen guys pitching out of their ordinary roles. And they're mixing and matching in the bullpen anyway. Upton out on strike, second strikeout for R.A. Dickey.
But again, you can solve a lot of problems with good starters. And I say starters at the starting pitching staff. And as you mentioned, they give you innings. Because you can mix and match, but then what happens in August after you've burned your bullpen?
Now Crawford gets hold of one and drives it deep to center. Way back and gone. Crawford hits his 3rd home run of the year. He teed off one last night. In the 3rd, hit it out to center and hits this one out to center field. That makes it 5-1.
Well, we talked about you get that knuckleball up in the air, you let it fly. That's what Carl Crawford does right here. Ironic because he hits the big home run here. His 2 previous hits today, just ground balls up the middle. But what a season he's had up to this point.
He's been healthy, and that's been a real key for him. His legs feel good. He had hamstring issues a year ago. He's had other little nagging injuries here and there. But a healthy Carl Crawford has been a big lift for this club. And the long ball the last couple nights here.
Well, you talk about his health and obviously the stolen bases, but he becomes even more important now with Bartlett out, Iwamura out. You see as he's making contact. Hey, where's that elbow, guys? It's tucked in. I love it. I love that tucked in elbow. That's where you get the power. But getting back to the stolen bases, the power, the speed. Look at that. There it is right there. We've seen so much of that. We got to let's go here. Tampa Bay is up 5-1 as we take it to the top of the 8th.
Van Wheeler, the righty, Randy Choate, the lefty, up in the Rays bullpen.
Justin Morneau steps in to lead off the 8th and swings through a first pitch fastball from Grant Balfour. Balfour entered the game with a man at second and 2 outs in the 6th. Got the final out of that inning at a 1-2-3-7. Now is quickly ahead of Morneau. 0-2. Kadire next, and then Tolbert. And he strikes him out. Balfour picks up his second strikeout since coming on in relief.
Well, this is a fastball up out of the zone, but with 2 strikes. So Morneau is up there, not really sure of himself, not real happy with his swing. Just one of those days.
Michael Kadire, he had trouble catching up to David Price. Price had 11 strikeouts today in 5 2/3. Gave up a run on 5 hits. Balfour throws a strike.
You talk Price having 11 strikeouts. Kadire was a victim 3 times.
Little tap over the mound. Zobrist makes the play. Moving to his left from the shortstop spot near the bag at second.
Well, a nice play by Zobrist to grab the ball, make the quick transfer, and a strong enough throw to beat the hustling Kadire. Zobrist has made some nice plays. I mean, that one up the middle and that bare hand earlier.
Time for the Hulu game summary. David Price, 11 strikeouts. Lariano, 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. Pitched better than those numbers indicate. Twins 0 for 7 with men in scoring position. The Rays 3 for 4. Game summary brought to you by Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy. Matt Tolbert, the pitch is up. 1 ball, no strikes.
Today's date of sentence is 36,052. 36052.
There's a strike, and now it's 1-1. Top of the 8th. 2 outs, bases empty. 1-2. Balfour in a very good rhythm. He has thrown strike after strike. 23 pitches, 19 strikes. And there's another one as he strikes out Matt Tolbert. Bottom of the 8th coming, 5-1 Tampa Bay. Presented by Taco Bell is sponsored by Miller High Life. Good honest beer at a tasty price. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Just for Men, stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. Back at Tropicana Field in Tampa Bay, a crowd of better than 36,000 on hand. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Carlos Pena leads off against R.A. Dickey. Fouls the first pitch. R.A. Dickey touched for the home run by Crawford in the 7th, but that really has been about it off him. After Liriano worked the front 4. One ball, one strike. Two and one. Ibar next, and then Ben Zobrist.
When you talk about Dickey and what he's done, sure he got touched up for the run, but he's given them some innings. He's given the bullpen a rest with Liriano leaving after the 4th. Again, you're not always just playing for that specific day. You see the Minnesota bullpen. You want it. You've got a game tomorrow. May have to get into that bullpen tomorrow. This game doesn't look good if you're the Minnesota Twins, but again, you're playing for tomorrow right now with Dickey eating up innings and saving the bullpen.
And that's ball 4, a little high. So a runner at first, nobody out. Next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Ryan Howard and the defending World Series champion Phillies head to Los Angeles to battle Andre Ethier and the Dodgers in a rematch of last year's NLCS. For the Indians take on the White Sox, or these Twins square off against the Mariners. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Sears returns next week at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. Check your local listings for game and start time in your area. Louis Ibar. That's a strike. Ibar 0 for 2 with a walk. Ibar, switch hitter, but against the knuckleballer, he's hitting right-handed.
And Dickey's going to show him by not throwing him a knuckleball. So how you want to go back the righty versus righty? Here, take these fastballs and sliders.
One ball, 2 strikes. Another switch hitter, Ben Zobrist, is on deck, but he's taking his cuts in the on-deck circle left-handed. Ground ball short. Colbert Casilla 1 and over to first to Morneau for a 6-4-3 double play. Sounds of the game. Kevin Sloy, the Twins right-hander, has been mic'd today. Talked pitch count earlier, and now a review of the entertainment value here at Tropicana Field.
They have an in-game host, a DJ, strobe lights, cowbells. I feel like I'm at a rave, not at a baseball game.
I think compared, though, to the Metrodome, this place offers a lot more life, or it just seems a bit more lively. I don't know if it's brighter in here or if it's all the things that Kevin Slowey alluded to. But it just seems like there's a lot more going on here.
Yeah, that's a conscious effort, and it is. I think it is brighter, having worked in the Astrodome for years and then spending time doing games out of the old Kingdome and the Metrodome. It is brighter here. Brighter in light and color. And they have live rays.
You throw those in that pool in Arizona, you'd really have something right there. Those rays in the pool.
3-1 the count to Ben Zobrist. Bottom of the 8th inning. Pena walked. Ibar grounded into the 6-4-3 double play. That will take the count full. Some of the padding has just fallen out there in center field. That looks like a Velcro malfunction.
Well, I will say this, though. This place, you know, having played here a number of years ago, it is a much more pleasant atmosphere for baseball. It's more baseball friendly.
The pitch is low for Zobrist, who walks. Joe Dillon's going to be the hitter with a man at first and 2 outs. Fox Sports proud to support the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. The Michael J. Fox Foundation's goal is to drive the development of better treatments and a cure for Parkinson's. To learn more, please visit michaeljfox.org.
See that pin right there? We've got our pins on today. Fox Sports, a wonderful job supporting a number of organizations.
Dillon hits it on the ground to short. They get the force play Tolbert to Casilla, and that retires the side. We're at the end of 8, headed to the 9th. 5-1 Tampa Bay. By Taco Bell. From St. Petersburg, Florida, we go to the 9th inning. Tampa Bay leading Minnesota 5-1. Brendan Harris leads off against Grant Balfour. Balfour has worked 2 1/3 innings in relief of David Price. That matches his longest outing of the year. He went 2 1/3 against Cleveland back on the 14th of May. It is behind Harris 2-0. There's ball 3. So after throwing 20 strikes of the first 24 pitches He served up there. He is now behind 3-0 here to Harris. Comes back with a strike. It's 3-1. Delman Young next, then Carlos Gomez. And there's ball 4. Harris draws the walk. Well, an umpire's job is never done. Sounds of the game. Jerry Meals mic'd as well, addressing that wall malfunction out there in right center field.
Right, like one section to the left with a 404 sign. Okay. Part of the mat was coming out. They just put it back, and you may want to keep an eye on it. It like, you know,
you mean off the wall this way?
Yeah, it like fell in.
They fixed it?
Yeah, you just put it back up. Okay. And you want to keep an eye on it.
Just to the left of the 404?
No, to the right of it.
To the right of it, okay. All right, then. Thank you.
So they took care of that. Meanwhile, Jim Hickey goes to the mound to try to redirect Grant Balfour after he's walked Brandon Harris and missed on the first pitch to Delman Young. This is something they don't want any part of, having lost a lead in Cleveland because of wildness in the 9th inning.
Yeah, they went down this road the other day, Monday. As you mentioned, they don't want to do it again. See Wheeler and Choate warming up down there. You know, and you talked about it earlier. No real designated roles in this bullpen right now. Joe Madden doing a nice job of mixing and matching.
Balfour misses to Young.
You know, but that makes it hard for the guys down in the bullpen. I mean, it's one thing to say, well, you always got to be ready, and that's great, but there is a certain type of way to prepare yourself to be accustomed to going into similar situations. You know, ideally, I think Joe Madden would like to have designated roles, but it just hasn't happened yet.
2-1 is lifted into center for Upton, and Delman Young is the first out. It's time for the Just for Men all-time Rays hold leader, and he's in the bullpen right now. Dan Wheeler with 46, and as he keeps his team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. Throwing here in the 9th inning with Balfour walking Harris, but coming back to get Delman Young. Carlos Gomez. Pitch is a strike. Gomez reached on an error his first time. Has struck out the last 2 trips up there. Base hit into right field for Gomez. Harris will go to third. It will be a first and third 1-out situation as Gomez picks up his first hit of the day. And the Twins are not going to go without a fight. Alexi Casilla is due up, and Joe Madden comes out of the bullpen, or comes out of the dugout with a signal to the bullpen. We'll be back with the third Tampa Bay pitcher in a moment. Casilla around to have him at right-handed.
Well, and he's more of a situational guy, but interesting last night. 199 career appearances earned his first save.
Well, here's Casilla with men at first and third. The pitch is down.
Now, as a hitter right now, sure, you'd like to get a hit and drive in a run, but your job is just to get on base because you want to get that lineup to where Mauer and Morneau come to the plate.
Choate misses down and in. So Casilla is up in the count 2-0.
Yeah, and right here he's got to be taken all the way. Maybe square and do that crazy bat waving with the fake bunt. But unless he's hitting it out of the ballpark right now, wouldn't have him swinging. He shouldn't be swinging.
And he takes the pitch for a strike. 2-1. 5-1 game in the ninth. The Twins have Brendan Harris at third, Carlos Gomez at first, one out. 2-1 the count to Casilla. And a chopper. This goes from Longoria down to second and over to first, not in time. They get the out. Harris crosses the plate. That will make it 5-2. Gomez forced at second. So Casilla reaches on a fielder's choice.
Well, here are the Rays just making sure of one. If you can get two, great, but all you're trying to do now is get outs.
There's Denard Span. Span bunted for a base hit in the third and scored a run. Choate's pitch is a strike.
Again, this is a guy that Choate wants, does not want to have to face Joe Mauer as the tying run, who is on deck.
Miller takes off for second as the pitch is shot foul. 0-2. Tampa Bay won last night 5-3. It's 5-2 in the ninth inning in this game. Two outs. Casilla at first. And two strikes the count to Span. Way wide. Down to second goes Casilla on indifference.
Trying to get on the outside part of the play. That breaking ball just moves further outside. Nice play by Hernandez.
One ball, two strikes. Choate steps back. Span steps back as well.
Again, there's no reason if you're pitching right now to even be looking at the runner. Who cares if Span wants to run out to left field and back? Doesn't matter. Excuse me, Casilla, you got to go after Span.
The 1-2. Span in prevent mode there. Fouled it. Stays alive. His mother, Wanda, he made her proud with that bunt single back in the third. He's got a chance to be a big part of the Twins' future. Denard Span. Choate trying to get him to end this game. And that one swipes a little bit outside. 2-2.
Yeah, it's
sweeping away on that slider.
Yeah, two breaking balls out of the zone. And again, this isn't the guy you want to be messing with here. Just throw the ball over the plate. If he gets a hit, he gets a hit. But you don't want to get yourself in a position where you've got to throw a ball over the plate because, again, Joe Mauer on deck. would be the tying run.
Well, this becomes a very big pitch. Obviously, he's trying to end the game, but now it's 2-2 with Mauer on deck. Oh, very close. Fastball. And now the count is full.
Yeah, you know, if I'm Hernandez, I'm setting up in the middle of the plate. The last 3 pitches, he's been on the outer half of the plate. Choate has enough movement in his pitches. Set up down the middle, let the movement take care of itself. Have Span go after something. But when you're setting up away, the pitch is going away. As a hitter, it's easy to take those. Set up down the middle.
Span has gone to 3-2. He struck him out. This game is over. He came in and Span strikes out. The Twins put up a fight in the 9th inning. They score a run. Leave a man. 5-2 the final. Tampa Bay has beaten Minnesota. We'll be back in a moment.